This is brought to you by Deluxy Acrylic Paint,
Heaven Insecticide Spray and Coil,
and Napa Foods.
Let me state emphatically that we have not been reckless in borrowing and in spending.
President Akufo-Addo defends government's borrowing and COVID-19 expenditure in spite of indictment by Auditor General in recent reports.
Also tonight, family of soldier killed in Ashaiman awaits autopsy report to aid in investigations as Parliament Defence and Interior Committee hint of probe into the matter and its fallout.
To commemorate International Women's Day, we throw the spotlight on a female member of Parliament and traders at Malamata Market here in Accra.
Coming up in business news, economist Professor John Gachi says Ghana could miss a golden opportunity to address its debt crisis if government does not stop justifying its excessive borrowing and expenditure.
And on the international front, origins of COVID-19 being explored by U.S. Congressional Committee in a first hearing in Washington.
We have details of these stories and more coming up shortly. Do stay with us.
We're starting off with an issue that has been really topical since yesterday. The family of the late Sheriff Imoro, the 21-year-old soldier who was allegedly murdered in Ashaiman, is waiting an autopsy report from the 37 Military Hospital to aid in investigations. According to the deceased family, he will be laid to rest tomorrow, March 9, at the military cemetery here in Accra. My colleague Godwin Asediba spent some time with the family and reports.
Investigations on a knife attack that took place on Saturday, March 4, leading to the death of a 21-year-old soldier, Sheriff Imoro, in Ashaiman, may commence soon by the police. The broken family of the once young and vibrant soldier was seated awaiting the remains for burial at the 37 Military Hospital. According to Ahmed Abdul Rahman, an uncle of the deceased, the police was at the 37 Military Hospital morgue in the early hours of Wednesday morning to take pictures of the remains before it was later taken back into the hospital's morgue for an autopsy to be conducted before burial.
We listened to one of the lieutenants who is in charge of the burial ceremony. He assured us that tomorrow by 10 o'clock everything will be successful. So we are yet waiting for the autopsy to be complete. Once we are assured, fully assured, tomorrow morning by 8 we will be here to take care of the body, bath him and then dress him up and then hand him over to the military to continue their process.
He said the deceased body was seen with stab wounds.
But we saw cats. I saw it myself. About 3 cats. But all the cats were on his left arm. Yeah. I hope the left arm that he was holding with the phone. So when they stabbed, the final stab, they left the knife in it. So it was where he went and passed away. That where he pulled the knife, that was why the blood flew more. When the police came, we just went to examine the body of the deceased, and then he's on the process of the autopsy. So he's waiting for the autopsy to be done, then he signs his function.
This family here is filled with grief, pain and sorrow after the demise of their beloved 21-year-old son, Sheriff Imoro, who was allegedly murdered somewhere around Ashaiman. We have been told here at the 37 Military Hospital, where the family has been gathered, that the body is currently undergoing autopsy. But after the exercise is done, he will be buried tomorrow at the military cemetery in Chado. Godwin Asediba, TV3 News, Accra.
And we've been updating viewers extensively on this particular issue since yesterday. Now let's engage Ernest Nogbe. He's the Member of Parliament for the Ashaiman constituency. Thank you very much for joining us on News 360 tonight. Do we know about the status of the 184 constituents who were picked up by the military yesterday?
Thank you very much, and good evening to your viewers. Yes, out of the 184, 150 have been released. As we speak now, we have about 34 left with the military, which they state that they are still screening them. So by close of tomorrow, we will know whatever outcome may come out from the screening. And so by and large, they have released 150. I just met that 150, including their family. As I speak with you, I'm still at that meeting, calming situations down, and then assuring them that we are going to take charge of the situation and also provide some leadership for them, so none of them should take the law into their hands. What is intriguing now is that the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, in his State of the Nation address, was not able to mention or to state a paragraph or even a line to console the bereaved family of the deceased soldier and also to condemn the attack on innocent citizens of Ashaiman yesterday. I see that as very disappointing about the president. It doesn't mean that the president is so insensitive that whatever happened yesterday in Ashaiman, he wanted to pay deaf ears to it. That is what we are disappointed in. But by and large, calm has returned to Ashaiman, and we are all in a stable condition.
We also know that it was such a traumatic experience yesterday. Those that have been released, those that are yet to be released, what is their general state?
The fate of those who have been released?
Yes, and even those who are yet to be released.
Well, those who have been released, they are all in good condition. We ask them to go and seek for medical review. And those who were beaten, brutalized yesterday, we again ask them to go for checkup. They should lodge complaint at the police station. Those at those who are still in custody, we are still pursuing it. That's what I said. By close of tomorrow, I'm sure something might have come out from it. Don't forget that the military is also saying that narcotics were found in some of them, and which I know definitely they might take action on this one. I'm not sure I'll be able to plead on those who are acquiring those narcotics or whatever it is. I'll not be able to plead on their behalf. But those who are arrested genuinely, I'll have to seek for their release, and which I'll be doing. But tomorrow morning, I'm holding a press conference in Ashaiman, a strong-worded press conference demanding for compensation for the victims, and also the perpetrators of this heinous crime yesterday dawn should be brought to book and should be punished. And after that, if ultimatum will be given, if nothing is done, we are heading to the Shraj and even the law court to seek for compensation for the victims.
Well, we know you're expectant that the president would mention this in the State of the Nation address. Is there a reason why this issue was not raised on the floor of Parliament?
The only reason why the president might have not mentioned it could be is very much aware of what happened yesterday. Probably he sanctioned it. Otherwise, he would have at least made a statement to condemn the act. If not, then I will not understand the reason why the magnitude of what happened yesterday and the whole world was on Ashaiman, and President today in his State of the Nation address could not mention it. Then what is the State of the Nation now? Is Ashaiman part of the State of the Nation? What happened in Ashaiman, is it part of the State of the Nation? Why should that be deleted out of the system? It means he knows about it, and he has directed that mayhem to be meted on the people of Ashaiman. Otherwise, I cannot fathom the reason why he may not do so.
Grateful for your time this evening. Dr. Ernest Nogbe is the Member of Parliament for the Ashaiman constituency, and he says that out of the 184 people that were picked up by the military yesterday, some 150 have been released. We're going to zoom now to engage Dr. Victor Dock. He is a security consultant and lecturer at the Kofi Annan Peacekeeping and Training Sector. Dr. Dock, we understand the military personnel were back in Ashaiman this evening after yesterday's traumatic experience. What do you make of this?
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity. Well, I think it's if they are back, then it's based on intelligence they picked up again that maybe those perpetrators those whom they didn't get the first time may have been back, and they need to capture them or arrest them. Hence, the intelligence has been picked up, and then they need to sort of like be in the spot again to get the kingpins if they haven't got them yet. And then also those associated with other crimes, because from the statement that I read earlier, they stated they had intelligence. Based on that, they moved in and then arrested these guys. So if they are back, then it could be they have picked up intelligence that there may be some kingpins that they haven't gotten the first time, and now they want to get them.
But some people have mentioned that the military are acting as if they are beyond reproach, because yesterday they were there. There's been a lot of condemnation, and this evening they've also gone back there. What do you make of that particular assertion?
Yes, it's people have the right to express their sentiments, because they are looking at it from the viewpoint of our reputation internationally and within the sub-region. What are the partners also saying? What are other people internationally saying about this kind of act? Now, my take is specifically to look at the aspect where Ashaiman and other places have been identified as flashpoints with regards to crime, violent crimes, and also the issues about narcotics and youth unemployment, these unemployment leading to high crime rates and other aspects. I look at it from that angle, and then I can conclude that the military's action may have been based on the fact that, yes, we can also take action. We can also move in, swoop in, and then deal with these issues related to crimes. Most importantly, the aspect where civilians take the law into their own hands and then mete out justice to our personnel.
But there's been also some concerns raised about the fact that we have seen a lot of confrontations between the military and civilians. How can we put this to rest?
Well, we need to build the civilian-military relationship. Now, with regards to what happened in Ashaiman, I would have wished that the military cooperated with the police. Now, in the first instance, why do I say so? In going in, maybe the police would have been the lead to do their groundworks or even share intelligence. It could be from police to the military or military to the police. Then now we can have a civil way where the police can now go in and then arrest these perpetrators. Now, the issue about confrontations with the military and civilians, yes, I agree. Now, we look at it holistically. It is not good for the reputation of the military. Now, when you talk about peacekeeping, we know how important the Ghanaian military has played their role when it comes to peacekeeping in the sub-region and elsewhere. Now, to sustain that reputation, they need to engage, cooperate with other civil society organizations. The police is there. They should use the police in going forward and fronting these activities that they're moving in. We all know the capabilities of the military, and when they move in, we know the consequences. So I would entreat the handful. Now, even if they want to do things on their own, then they should just use the police.
Well, grateful for your time this evening. Dr. Victor Doke is a security analyst, and we have been speaking about the happenings in Ashaiman. We know that yesterday some 184 people were picked up. Earlier, the MP for the area, Ernest Nogbe, tells us 150 people have been released and 34 more yet to go.
Let's now focus on the State of the Nation address, and President Akufo-Addo has defended government's COVID-19 expenditure in spite of an indictment in the Auditor General's recent report. The President in the State of the Nation address insisted the funds to fight the pandemic were appropriately utilized. Komla Kluche reports.
The seventh in his tenure as the Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, President Akufo-Addo was all hearty, beaming with smiles even when he met his predecessor, who has been his fiercest critic. As a constitutional mandate, he had a simple duty to Ghanaians to apprise them on the state of the nation.
Today, we live in a country in which we enjoy complete freedom of expression, freedom of association, freedom of assembly, freedom of religion, and political affiliation. Indeed, freedom of speech has now reached such heights that even members of the diplomatic corps feel able to join in our national discourse and pronounce on matters that will be problematic for Ghanaian diplomats in their countries of origin.
Expenditure issued by the Auditor General indicated that senior management and other supporting staff of the Information Ministry paid themselves a total of 151,500 cedis as COVID risk allowance for not going to work during the lockdown, while vaccines worth $81 million and 26 ambulances were not delivered. But the president said no wrong was committed.
It is precisely because the economic fallout from the pandemic is so widespread and long-lasting that it is important to show clearly that the COVID-19 funds were not misused. It is critical that we do not lose the confidence of the people that a crisis that they were led to believe we were all in together was abused for personal gain. Mr. Speaker, it was government that asked for the COVID funds to be audited, and I can assure this House that nothing dishonorable was done with the COVID funds.
While many have called for the head of the health minister, he may just have gotten a boost in his morale from the president.
The responses from the Ministers for Health and Finance on January 23rd and 25th, 2023, respectively, have sufficiently laid to rest the queries from the Auditor General's report. And I believe any objective scrutiny of these statements from the Health and Finance Ministries.
Komlak Duche, TV3 News, Accra.
Meanwhile, the President's State of the Nation address has received sharp reactions from MPs in Parliament.
What did he say? Only to blame Russian and Ukraine war and COVID on Ghana. And I don't think it's something very good.
You were not impressed?
I wasn't impressed at all.
What exactly were you expecting him to say, and in what language were you expecting him to speak to the soul of Ghanaians?
I wanted to hear the truth and whatever actually is happening to Ghana and what remedies that they've put in place.
I'm very proud. He has all of us.
Does this reflect the state of your pocket?
I have no pockets. But I am very grateful to God for what He's giving us so far. I see my half bottle of water as half full, not half empty.
A true reflection of what your pocket is?
No, not at all. The president basically fulfilled the constitutional provision. Nothing new has been said. At least all he said was to blame the usual COVID, and the shocking one is for the president trying to stampede any investigation into the COVID fraud in many cases. I think that was very unfortunate. The people call him the clearing agent of wrongdoing his government. I thought you would have stayed away from that. I'm very unhappy.
From now till 2028, if you're able to follow religiously the programs that have been laid forward, we're able to ensure that indeed the $3 billion that the IMF have agreed to give to the state will be able to give us some space to ensure that we have a debt sustainability. And so I disagree with anybody who thinks that His Excellency did not show any signs of hope, he did not give any comfort, he did not give any hope to the Ghanaian people. Rather, as a young man and as a youth, I believe that His Excellency and the New Patriotic Party has the key to be able to recover the economy from the shatters and the tatters that we see today.
And the president also defended government borrowing.
Emphatically, that we have not been reckless in borrowing and in spending. It is worth noting that the debts we're serving were not only contracted during the period of this administration. Mr. Speaker, we'll spend money on things that are urgent, to build roads and bridges and schools, to train our young people and equip them to face a competitive world. Considering the amount of work that still needs to be done on the state of our roads, the bridges that have to be built, considering the number of classrooms that need to be built, the furniture and equipment needs at all stages of education, considering the number of children who should be in school and are not, considering the number of towns and villages that still do not have access to potable water, I dare say no one can suggest we have overborrowed or spent recklessly. Yes, I've been in a hurry to get things done, and this includes massive developments in agriculture, education, health, irrigation, roads, rails, ports, airports, sea defense, digitization, social protection programs, industrialization, and tourism. We can be justifiably proud of the many things that we have managed to do in the past 6 years. As I go around the country, I hear the pleas for more roads, schools, hospitals, and as the rainy season comes, I wish, as every other Ghanaian does, that would have built more drains than we have.
You can find more stories on the State of the Nation address on 3news.com. Let's now focus on International Women's Day. Today, as Ghana joins the world to mark International Women's Day, we throw the spotlight on market women and their struggles to manage their families. There's more in the following report. The woman is the economic center around which every family is built, and the market epitomizes the melting pot of industrious females. From single mothers, wives, daughters continuing their mothers' legacies, to breadwinners at the heart of the country's economy. Aside being natural caregivers or nurturers, there's one thing we can all agree on. Women have a unique business sense. That is why, to mark International Women's Day, we're here at one of Accra's busiest markets to find out from some of the market women how their businesses have helped them manage their families over the years. 57-year-old Auntie Akwele is the fish market queen at the Malamata market. She began by following her mother to the market as a child. She's now taking care of her children from the business she inherited.
If you have a woman at home, you have everything. Market women especially take very good care of their home.
For 40 years, Auntie Atta, a widow with 5 children, has traded in pepper, popularly known as papushito.
I lost my husband early on during our marriage, but this is the business that helped me take my children through school.
She says women go through a lot in managing their families.
Widows go through a lot as women. Children depend solely on them, and this is hard.
A sentiment Mama Mercy, a tilapia trader, agrees with. She says her wish is to have the struggles of women in looking after their families lessened.
Sometimes I cry a lot before coming to the market. All I do is to pray to God to help me cater for my kids.
This year's theme for International Women's Day is digital, innovation and technology for gender equality. But for these women, average age of 50 years, they have not adapted much to technology. They are skeptical, but not cut off completely.
I have a smartphone, but I don't have time, like the young girls, to be going on social media all the time. I only use WhatsApp.
This is all I have. I only use it to make calls.
Market women continue to play a significant role in the country's socio-economic development, but require more support to lessen their burden. Aisha Yakubu Khalid, TV3 News, Manamata Market, Accra.
If you have food on your table, you must also thank the market woman. Meanwhile, the Member of Parliament for Infantiman, Ophelia Mensah-Hayford, says it is not an easy task rising up on the floor of Parliament to speak as a woman. She asked her colleague women MPs to be bold and speak out, as the world has now embraced women in politics.
After the murder of her husband, who was the MP for Infantiman in October 2020, Ophelia Mensah-Hayford said she was encouraged by her constituents to contest the seat, which she obliged. Before entering Parliament, she was a senior police officer. She says speaking on the floor of Parliament could be frightening.
If you're not careful, you'll not be able to stand on your feet in Parliament to say anything, because you rise on your feet and you see the sort of people that are seated and you ask yourself, can I? But with confidence, you were able to also take part.
She admitted her male counterparts have been supportive.
Women in Parliament here in Ghana, we are blessed because our colleagues or the men see us as their equals, and they even give us more opportunities. The men are proud of us because sometimes they will even say, no, this one, we want the women to say it. Some of the men still don't want to accept women in leadership. It takes just a few who are enlightened to see that women complement the men.
And the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, could not have demonstrated that more.
I want to assure all the women that I am here for you. As a result of that, I approved a facility for all our women here to proceed tomorrow to reach out to all women in their constituencies and women everywhere in the world.
Women in politics in Ghana and Africa are gradually gaining grounds, and the legislator admonished women to participate and take up leadership positions, as she insists they have the potential. The Infantiman MP says her main challenge has to do with women in her constituency.
Some women feel they shouldn't support, rather they'll go in for a man to be an MP. You ask yourself, why? But I think it's something that needs to be brought to the fore, to be discussed, for women to accept the fact that if a woman is leading, all women should rise up to support whoever.
She urges women to be united, fight for gender parity, mentor others, and to ensure the Affirmative Action Bill is passed into law. Evelyn Tinkma, TV3 News, Accra.
And now, AngloGold Ashanti Diaprim Mine last year reserved 50% of its scholarship awards to females pursuing STEM-related programs at the tertiary levels. This was made known by the company at an event in Takwa with the ladies in mining and allied professions in Ghana to commemorate International Women's Day.
The theme for this year's celebration is Digital Innovation and Technology for Gender Equality. A representative of the Managing Director of AngloGold Ashanti, Diaprim Mine, Engineer Isaac Boache, noted that the company believes in diversity and inclusion in all facets of life for sustainable development.
Diaprim Mine is indeed collaborating with humans and through LIMAP to mentor and groom young ladies in the tertiary education.
Pro-VC of the University of Mines and Technology, Professor Anthony Simmons, underscored the need to bridge the digital skills gap.
In Ghana, where the gender gap in terms of population favors the female population by 0.7%, men are 52% more likely than women to possess digital skills. Despite their limited access to the digital world, women and girls are often prone to cyber violence.
Dr. Ahiniwa Kakra is a member of the Ladies in Mining.
So all that we do centers around women, making sure that women succeed, making sure that all that it takes for us to be empowered so that we can also give our quota to society.
AngloGold Ashanti Iduaprem Mine has contributed to various programs aimed at providing opportunities for women participation in employment, gender parity, and inclusiveness.
And we say Ayiko to all women. Away from International Women's Day, it is touted as the oldest profession, but now becoming more dangerous for patrons. In TV3's latest feature, Sperm Merchants, Stanley Niblu throws the spotlight on how some female sex workers exchange the semen of clients for ritual purposes.
Commercial sex work has been in existence for ages. With the advent of social media platforms, commercial sex work has now evolved. Hookup is its whitewashed name. In Ghana, the services of hookup girls are highly patronized as more ladies have joined the fray. These desperate ladies can do anything for money. There is the belief that body parts of men who patronize the services of hookup ladies are exchanged for money with cultists. When I heard of the sperm sale, I decided to investigate those behind the act and why they do what they do.
Well, do make a date with us. Sperm Merchant is at 9 tonight.
We are watching News 360. We have some business news coming up next with Della Michelle.
We have just 50 minutes to set off.
Let's go.
We want jollof for school.
Shower time.
I'll make jollof.
Jollof? We have 45 minutes. What about the cutting, chopping, blending?
Tasty Tom Jollof Mix has all the ingredients to make jollof already mixed in the pack.
Is it going to taste the same?
So you say Pour oil. Add 1 pack of 210 grams Tasty Tom Jollof Mix. Fry for 10 minutes. Add water, some cube, and salt. Add rice. In 45 minutes. Sharp, let jollof now bing. Right on time.
Delicious jollof and in 45 minutes?
How? Easy cry.
The sweet scent of rose in the morning brings me so much joy. Inspired by Damask Rose and infused with 100% natural rose oil. Introducing new Clay Soft Perfume Beads Washing Powder. It's like bringing a garden with you everywhere with this wonderful perfume. Take a garden with you everywhere you go with Clay Soft Perfume Beads Washing Powder.
Hi, I am Richard Nyamakwe. Every day, I meet and interact with many young people who are full of business ideas and passionate about bringing these dreams to life to impact livelihoods and supporting their communities through small businesses. However, these businesses are often shattered or simply remain pipe dreams due to absence of seed capital. So on the occasion of my 38th birthday, the Richard Quay Foundation is providing a free seed capital to 10 young ambitious entrepreneurs who have great business ideas. Let your creative ideas flow now and send along those smart business ideas to info@richardquayfoundation.org. At the end, an independent grand jury will carefully review all business ideas and select 10 most outstanding ideas to walk away with a whopping 25,000 Ghana cedis each as seed capital. 6 months after, Quick Angels Limited will provide more substantial equity funding to those who have done something meaningful with their seed capital. All the best.
See, you gotta have a smile, no matter what it takes. Then you gotta take perk down, love the way it tastes. Feel the perky buzz from your toes to your face. You gotta take perk down, perky it today. Say oh, 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 oh. You gotta take perk down, perky it today. Say oh, 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 oh. You gotta take
Perk up anywhere, even at home, with the rich milky taste of Peck biscuits. This advert is FDA approved.
This is the breaking news. About 2,500 people 2,500 people have been.
We'll be right back after a commercial break.
When stubborn coughs, colds and catarrh interrupt your life, get fast relief with Stop Cough. The Stop Cough range is suitable for adults, children and babies.
In today's breaking news, Alex is back and...
There is a Stop Cough for every cough and for everyone.
There surely is.
Ask your pharmacist about the right Stop Cough for you. The Stop Cough range is manufactured and distributed by NS Chemist Limited. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
The business segment is brought to you by MTN.
It's now time to hand over to Della Michelle to give us the latest in the world of business. Happy International Women's Day.
I wish you both the same.
Thank you very much. So Professor John Gachi has been speaking
about
the President's State of the Nation address.
Indeed,
what has he been saying?
Well, let's give that information to our viewers out there. This is my name is Della Michelle. It's now time for the latest in the world of business. Economist Professor John Gachi has described as worrying President Akufo-Addo's justification for the excessive borrowing and high spending by his government. The Dean of Business School at the University of Cape Coast advised the president to be sober in his utterances or risk incurring the wrath of creditors whom Ghana is asking for debt relief. He was reacting to the State of the Nation address on BizBrief a while ago.
Some investor community do not believe in what we are saying in Ghana as the reason for which we have accumulated so much debt. Recently, the German ambassador, who is supposed to be one of the key people to engage in diplomatic discussion with China and other creditors, do not believe that we have done enough to showcase that we are actually in a challenging period. The same way I believe other diplomats are thinking about us. So this is the time we should be sober. This is the time we should be humble enough to sort of try to put in place a mechanism that will help people to accept our position. But we are not doing that. We have not reduced expenditure drastically. We are still spending across board. So we don't showcase to the world that we are indeed in crisis.
We'll bring you more reactions in our subsequent broadcasts, but away from that, Treasury bills witnessed another high patronage, even as government measures to correct interest rate anomalies pushed the yield significantly lower from the 35% levels. The latest drop in the interest rate of between 7.5% and 10% marks biggest fall in a single auction in many years. My colleague Sani Abdulrahman has been studying the figure and reports.
Yields on the 91-day bill ticked lower by more than 1,000 basis points to 24.1%, according to the auction results announced by the Bank of Ghana. The 182-day fell by 850 basis points to 26.5%, while the one-year note was down 750 basis points at 27.5%. Yet the auction was oversubscribed. The government accepted bids to 4.5 billion Ghana cedis, out of 6.15 billion cedis tendered. Treasury rejected all bids quoted around 35% levels in the T-bills auction last Friday and asked investors to revise down. However, the auction saw high subscriptions as the domestic market is awash with liquidity. Total interest servicing costs for the short-term instruments are expected to drop significantly as the government corrects yields on the money market. However, the huge drop may cause some distortions. Market watchers expect yields to drop further in subsequent treasury auctions, despite inflation at a record level of 53.6%.
Economist Joe Jackson says the current high interest rate regime is unjustifiable despite the high inflation rates being witnessed. This follows government's decision not to pay the 37% interest rates demanded by investors during its treasury bill auction on Friday. Government rejected the bid, although it needed about 2.7 billion cedis from the T-bills to refinance maturing bills worth some 2.55 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Jackson tells 3Business there's no way interest rates can compete with inflation.
You can't chase inflation. If you want to chase inflation, you are in the wrong place. Because even 35 was still lower than inflation. You're looking at inflation minimizing. You're looking at the total effect on the economy. At this moment, I believe our inflationary rates are a correction to our purchasing power due to the excess liquidity we have in the economy. Letting the rates chase inflation will actually make the situation worse. It will not make it better. For the last 3 months, this government has bought over 33 billion in T-bills at a cost, total cost by the time the T-bills mature, of over 4.
This news we have for you this evening when you log on to 3news.com, the more business news available. My name is Della Michelle. Sports news is after this break. Stay with us.
What does money mean to you?
It means convenience. It gives me the ability to do business at my own pace.
It allows me to live my life with ease and enjoy my lifestyle without interruptions.
Security. I can make investments I can trust, and I know exactly where my money is all the time.
Having the flexibility to do what I want to.
The feeling and peace of mind I get knowing I can safely receive remittances from my family and friends from the comfort of my home. Money means safety.
Money means so many things to so many people, but no matter what you use it for or what it may mean to you, money is the one thing that keeps us going and makes our lives a little bit brighter. So what does money mean to you? Just Momo it.
MTN.
Wow, this place has changed, yo. Ajua, look at you all grown up, yo.
Some things never change, like Gino's quality recipe that gives my food that rich color, unique natural taste every time.
Smells good, yo.
Hey, sister. With the Wapunsano and Kasa, just like I remember.
Uncle Ebo, hurry up and let's open the suitcase.
Ajua, chai, never shrink quampa.
Best jollof I've ever eaten.
Wow, this is real jollof, mommy.
Gino dear, Emma Drania de Ankasa.
Say Gino dear, fie. It's delicious, yo.
This advert is FDA approved. Papa ne mami galamse, ahemfo. Papa Kwiani, Papa Soja ni prosini, Owura DC, Owura politician ni businessman. Ahohuwe, Madufu de penel say a dachi. Mo tonton yen sa sepa, mo say yen kwaye ni yensuo. Nkakra ye koko no sa, free say. Mo se mo mfa kwan paso ntu go. Ene na ode gisika o, na hunu say ochina, nsuo mpo a ye be nom ho be yedin. Kwaye asai. Koko adwade ama ne de ye nya hwe mfiri mu si ya amato antwa yenchirima ho bɛkyire wɔn yie nyarewa atuturasɛm kom ne ahokyere na wɔbɛkom yɛbɛtumi ayɛ ne yie yɛwɔtumi sɛ yɛbɛsesa bɔne akɔpapa ne ehia ne sɛ yɛbɛyɛ baako atae abayachi community mining ne alternative livelihood program ɛkɔso wɔ mantemu fa ho dom nefa kwan paso to gold Ghana mine yenka mom to galamsey ase nkratoɔ yi free Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources and the Minerals Commission of Ghana ho na yɛde abrɛmo.
Sports segment is brought to you by
Consolidated Bank Ghana, CBG.
Welcome back to News 360. Let's now do some sports news. And on International Women's Day, the 3 Sports team brings you an inspirational story of a woman who never stopped following her dreams in football.
A number of scientific researches show that women are naturally blessed with multitasking. One of such women making waves on Ghana's sporting scene is Cleopatra Ntia Nketia. She completed a post-call law at the Ghana School of Law in 2013 and has since been called to the US and UK bars as well as the Ghana Bar Association. Nketia is currently CEO for Boateng Ado and Nketia and Associates. However, she has never lost her passion for football, which she discovered at an early age. She's gone on to start a new club now known as Rich City Women's FC.
I actually got into football administration because I actually wanted to start playing. So Rich City came about because of passion and because I wanted to be involved in football. And when I wanted to play, I used to live in the UK. I used to play football in the UK. So when I moved back down to Ghana, I wanted to continue that pattern. And I was looking for a football club that suited who I was, and I had a job. So I wanted a club that could adjust to my time. And I realized that there was no other club around that fit my schedule. So then why not start a club?
5 years down the line, and the club has moved through the ranks to the top flight division. But the journey hasn't been an easy one.
So it was supposed to be a good time for girls who were like me, who wanted to come around and play football. And then when we opened that doors, it just evolved and grew into something bigger than what we thought. So I actually had no idea about managing a football club or what the journey was going to be like. I just thought it was going to be a once or twice a week thing. We gather, we play football, we are happy, we laugh, and we go. But then there's so many girls out there who are looking for an opportunity. There's so many girls out there who are looking to make it as a career. And I realized that, okay, we cannot take the whole hobby approach anymore. Now we need to get serious.
There are hundreds of girls out there who want to get into the football industry. On International Women's Day, here's a piece of advice.
You need to take that step. If you want to play football, you have to get into it. You have to join. You have to do what you can do. You can see they want to do football. They want to, but the will is also not there. I want to do football, but I'm not really in it. Some people are not bringing their heart into the game. They are physically there, but they're not mentally there. And it feels like they are spoiling the chance for other people. But for anybody who wants to get into football, I think that you should do it.
Cleopatra Ntia Nketia has laid the blueprint on how women can combine their passions and become successful through hard work and dedication. The aim is to see a lot more representation for women when it comes to football in Ghana a few years from now.
Kudos to Cleopatra. Women can do it all. Now, the South African Embassy in association with the Accra Polo Club has held the Independence Day Cup. The event is intended to promote South African tourism in Ghana. The Accra Polo Tournament is part of activities slated to mark Ghana's 66th Independence Day celebration and rally more Ghanaians to patronize South African tourism. South Africa has over the years branded and positioned itself as a preferred tourism destination in Africa after its government invested in tourism infrastructure. South African High Commissioner to Ghana, Grace Janet Mason, said her country is committed to strengthening the existing bilateral relations in the area of trade.
Our economies has been disproportionately impacted, but we look at the opportunities where we can restructure our economies and revive our opportunities. And for South Africa, tourism, the movement of people is at the apex. As Africans, lest we forget who we are, where we come from, that we have a common destiny.
President of the Accra Polo Club, Rashid Ibrahim laid emphasis on talent development in polo.
There is a perception that polo is only for the elite. It's somewhat true because it's an expensive sport. But like anything else, you have patrons that make it a point to support.
British High Commissioner to Ghana, Harriet Thompson, was also keen on maintaining good tides among the polo participating countries.
We saw a really competitive, hot game of polo. The Ghanaian polo pony owners have lent their horses to the British team. It's all about friendship and enjoying time together, which is an important message, I think, particularly as we celebrate Ghana's independence.
There are in excess of 200 South African businesses here in Ghana. That's it for sports. Entertainment news is up next.
Maria, I'm still like a crack. Oh, like a crazy sack. Oh, Maria, Pomma Sherry.
The beer, America. So,
Amelia, Zumwa, Bedimuna, the nasty bam.
Mammy, hi, Manumbella.
And that was a video.
A Pomma tomato mixing, no.
When you come while you do, hey. Nothing bueno.
Hey, Pomma tomato mixo. Pommo no.
Charlie, no where the love come here. If the jollof no.
If the Pomma tomato mixo. Pommo no.
Pommo tomato mix aye, the natural tomato aye. Aye koko kama emupi. Fiber when in row munti. Emma would be near destro comada for 4 near Busianina. This advert is FDA approved.
OneXBet, reliable bookmaker with high odds, wide selection on events, and bonuses for every taste. OneXBet, easy use, easy win.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly, not for persons below 18 years.
Creating your own business takes time, passion, and hard work. It takes commitment and perseverance in the face of challenges. As an entrepreneur, I look for value. How to get more for less. That is what Vodafone Too Much Business gives. Too much data, minutes for calls, SMS bundles, and my favorite part is too much flexibility to customize your mobile plan.
Get more value for your business. Sign on to Vodafone Too Much Business, a cost-efficient mobile offer that allows you to choose and customize how much data, voice or SMS allocations your business needs. Send start to 050-777-9000 or email vodafonebusiness.gh@vodafone.com.
Whatever your business needs are, Vodafone Too Much Business has a solution for you.
Tasty Tom tomato mix. Ofa kakra. Na ye bebre. Fa kakra yan kwan stew dodo a ope.
Tasty Tom dear, it will surely give you value for money. Steak a little is enough to get our desired quantity of stew and soup, and it doesn't color your meat or chicken.
Tasty Tom tomato mix into. Me handwriting and sisada. Sena ne dene bia sa net into customers bar never.
I don't compromise on the quality of my food. Use Tasty Tom enriched tomato mix.
This advert is FDA approved.
Is brought to you by Awake Purified Drinking Water.
Time now for entertainment news. Well, I'm not Parkway, Nira.
As always.
Yeah, you're looking good, and happy International Women's Day.
Happy International Women's Day to you, Portia, and to Aisha.
Thank you. We're talking tourism today.
Yes,
right?
exactly. The president has been speaking, and even before that, my name is Anita Ekia Ekufuor, and President Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has said that the decision to prioritize tourism as a key policy for economic diversification has paid off significantly, leading to Ghana being ranked the #1 tourism destination in West Africa. In his State of the Nation address, he said government will further deepen efforts to make tourism a strong primary source of growth for the economy.
Our decision to prioritize tourism as a key policy for economic diversification, job creation and growth is clearly paying off. The World Economic Forum report of 2021 Travel Index ranks Ghana as the #1 tourism destination in West Africa. The potential contribution of tourism and the arts to GDP is therefore one that we must nurture and emphasize. Both domestic and international tourism are rebounding significantly from the severely disruptive impact of COVID on the travel and tour industry. International arrivals nearly trebled last year from a low of 355,158 in 2020 to over 915,000. Domestic visits to tourist sites are also up by over 55.7% during the period. All these have been made possible by deliberate marketing initiatives and upgrades of tourist infrastructure by the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture and its agency, the Ghana Tourism Authority. The Beyond the Return initiative, which I launched in 2019 as a sequel to the Year of Return, has reignited excitement about Ghana as the hub and the Mecca for the global Pan-African, a home every person of African descent must visit at least once in their lifetime. Over the next couple of years, my government will deepen even further our efforts to make tourism a strong primary source of growth for the economy.
To December in GH.
In some more stories, Ghanaian songstress and Jeje hitmaker Sister Fia pulled up on New Day Morning Show to talk about her 6 years journey in the music business. And to her, it's been very tough but rewarding. How has Sister Fia been dealing with the negative criticisms that hit her from time to time?
You also have come under a lot of criticism.
Ooh, crazy.
A barrage of them, actually.
And I'm still going through it. Yes.
How do you rise above all the negativity?
The more you grow in the industry, things like this, you know how to, what's the word?
To maneuver.
Yes. You don't really pay attention to what people have to say. I mean, when you're starting, it's okay. You feel a bit depressed, when you cry, oh my God.
Oh, you felt that way?
Oh, yeah. I mean, everybody who started the music journey has always, like, I mean, at one point felt depressed, felt like, why do everybody hate me? You know, nobody likes to read bad news about themselves. So, I mean, it was one of those moments. But, I mean, I've grown over it. I don't care. I'm just doing music, and I have God, so that's the most important thing.
What are some of the challenges that you go through? Everybody wants to have a piece of you.
Yes.
Is one of it?
Yes, it's one of it. But me, I know how to maneuver that. Like,
how do you maneuver?
We day in Accra here.
My name is Anita Ikia Ikufu, and that will be all for entertainment. Have a good evening.
The origins of COVID-19 are being explored by a U.S. congressional committee in a first hearing in Washington. The panel, formed by a new Republican majority in the U.S. House of Representatives, is aiming to establish how the coronavirus emerged. Some U.S. officials have concluded that COVID-19 most likely came from an unintended lab leak in Wuhan, China. But many scientists point out there is no evidence that it leaked from a lab. And the White House has said there is no consensus across the U.S. government on the virus's origins. Cyclone Freddy is expected to make landfall again in Mozambique later this week after it struck Madagascar for a second time on Monday. It's killed 4 people on the Indian Ocean island, bringing Freddy's death toll to 21. The storm first wreaked havoc in southeastern Africa in late February and has displaced thousands in both countries. It may become the longest-lasting storm on record, as it has been spinning over the Indian Ocean for 32 days.
For more news updates, do log on to our website, 3news.com. And that's it for the International Women's Day edition of News 360. Before we go, it takes a village to raise a journalist. And thank you also for helping raise me up here.
Absolutely.
At Media General, especially
you have been our mentor, all of us.
Oh, goodness.
So, yes. Senior Portia, as Della calls her affectionately.
as we celebrate International Women's Day, we want to say thank you.
Thank
for
you.
all you have taught us.
Thank you.
We are grateful.
Thank you.
And thank you to you for always supporting women out there. Happy International Women's Day to all women. My name is Aisha Yakubuhan.
And I am Portia Gabo. Enjoy the rest of our programs. Have a lovely evening.